Enumerations, or enums for short, allow you to define a type by enumerating its possible variants. So let's start by looking at how to define an enum. So it's relatively the same as a struct, so we'll say enum, and then we'll create an enumeration of pets, so we'll call it pet, and then we'll open and close it with curly brackets, and then in here we'll have a dog, a cat, and a fish. So to use this, then we can just say let dog equals pet of dog. So just like structs, we can also implement methods on them. So let's impl pet, open and close, and then let's create a function called what am I. And remember, you have to reference yourself, and then we're going to return a string slice, and then inside here we're just going to say hey match, and we'll get into this in a second, self pet dog, I need to capitalize the P, pet dog, and if it matches, return I am a dog. And then we're going to do this again for cat and fish. So there is something that I purposefully left out, so let's see what it is. It says we are expecting a string, but we returned a string slice. Okay, so now let's return a reference to our string slice. But now when we do that, we need to specify our lifetime annotation, and we want it to be a static lifetime. So now we're all good. So down here, let's print this out just to make sure everything worked. So we're going to have a dog, and we're going to say, what am I? So we're expecting it to say, I am a dog. And that's exactly what it says. It says, I am a dog. So awesome. It worked. So we can also do that for cat and fish, and they would return, I am a cat, I am a fish. But now let's look at how we can use an enum inside of a struct. So we're going to shift gears for a second. We're going to create another enum called IP adder kind, so the IP address kind. And we're going to have IPv4 and then also 6. So now inside of here, we're going to create a struct for IP address. And for our kind, we're going to assign it an IP adder kind, because our IP can either be IPv4 or IPv6. And then our address is obviously going to be a string. So down here, let's say let home equal IP adder, and it's going, the kind is going to be IP adder kind v4, and then our address is going to be a string from 127.0.0.1, so localhost. And close it. So we can also do let loopback IP adder kind IP adder kind, and in this case it's going to be version 6, and then our address is going to be that. So that's how we can use an enum inside of a struct. We can also have structs inside of enums, and then furthermore we can assign data types inside our enum as well. So let's say we have this up here, so we're going to assign a data type to it, and we want this to be a string. So down here we can modify, we'll say let home equals IP adder v4, and then we need it to be a string. So then we have string from 127.0.0.1. So we have a little error. Let's see what it says. No associated name, and that's because this needs to say kind. So that's how we can assign a type inside of our enum. So you can get creative as you want with types inside of an enum. You can have variants with no data associated, named fields like a struct. You can specify a string or specify as many types inside just like you can with a tuple. So the options are quite extensive, which is great. So now let's look at some enums that Rust gives us by default.